So in this presentation, we're going to be setting up authentication using Google OAuth. Here's a high-level overview. We are currently on 8. We're almost done with creating the server. So the video overview, we're going to create Google OAuth account. We're going to be adding to the config file we created in the early steps. And then we're going to just map this config file.json to the Docker Compose file if we haven't already done that. And then we're going to be adding admins. So here are our sources. I would highly recommend going to Google OAuth docs to get an in-depth pretty much of why we're using it. But I'll be going over briefly of why we're using it here. So it's free. The documented implementation in PrairieLearn documentation. So pretty much PrairieLearn docs contain like how to configure Google OAuth. So that's our best bet instead of going blindly into creating authentication for PrairieLearn. So the config.json updates, we just need to add the OAuth credentials for the HTTP redirects. And why admins? Because currently there's no admins on the PrairieLearn server. So admins will be stored in the Postgres that is running in the Docker container, and this will just once we set it up, it'll be easy to add admins. Here's the diagram overview, and now, as I said in the last video, we will be going over the Google OAuth right here on step 4 of how the PrairieLearn Docker container just sends a request to Google OAuth when you log in, and then the logic will be sent back to PrairieLearn to store the user in their database, and then what the end user will receive when they're logged in is the HTTPS site, but again currently logged in. So here's the diagram focus, what I just said. We're just going to be in the remote virtual machine using Google OAuth and the PrairieLearn Git repo, which is just the config.json. So the main component, Google OAuth, we're going to create a new project, go to APIs and services, and then we're going to credentials and then create credentials. We're going to need OAuth. We're going to need to go external. We're going to add the origins, which is our website. And then we're going to need to save the secrets, which is the credentials. So the config.json, we're going to add the client ID, the client secret. Pretty much these next 4 are parameters for the config that PrairieLearn in their docs has supplied and kind of give us a step on guide how to do it. And for admins, these are the steps to do it. We're gonna need to pretty much go into the container of the PrairieLearn. We need to go into Postgres and select select a star from users addressing who has logged into the PrairieLearn server, and we can add the first admin to one of them, like add one of the people that have logged into the admins, and then from there that person can add other admins. So this is the only time you'll be needing to do this. So yeah, this walkthrough will contain setting up authentication. So here we are gonna click new project, and then we put in the project name we have. So I'm just gonna add pretty much our server name, organization, or location. You don't need that, but if you want to add it, you can for your school. And you're gonna see it's creating the project for you. And now we want to go to API services, and we can see I am in the project. So if you go to API and services right here, you have to go to all products, and then we want to get the credentials. If I click it, so right here I'm gonna click on credentials, and then we're gonna create credentials. And we're gonna need an OAuth client ID, and then we have to configure actually the OAuth content screen, and it's gonna only let us do I believe external, sorry. So you're just click external and then create, and then you're gonna type in all this stuff that's needed with the red asterisks. Just use email you're on, and then we are gonna put in the email address also for the developer contact information, and we're gonna hit save and continue. And now this is done, we can click save and continue again, save and continue, and then we're gonna go back to dashboard. Now we can go to credentials and create our OAuth client credentials. This is for just the getting to use Google authentication pretty much. So we just added you can add the name if you want, or just leave it as default. And here we're gonna add the actual URL we use for us. Here again, I accidentally swapped 46 and 23. I seem to always do that mistake. I don't know why. So just make sure it's typed, and here you can see me searching to make sure, but I had it flipped around. So now we are gonna actually add the PL like callback. So this redirects once you log in. So now with that, we have that. Again, I've switched the 23 and 46. So now you want to keep these a secret. Don't show anyone the client secret. Obviously in this video we're going to delete them after, so it's okay for now. Download the JSON might help, or just copy them wherever it's best for you. So we're just going to click OK, and now we are done with that, and we're going to go into our server, and we are going to be in the PrairieLearn directory, and now we're going to create a config.json. So the file above, but it was I deleted it, and I'm making it again for the video purposes. So now we're gonna see that it's created. It won't see it on the left yet, updated. You can see me here checking, but I don't know why it doesn't update so fast. But we're just gonna edit it through the terminal right now, and you can see me open up the VIM for this config file. And now we're gonna add all the stuff we need for configuring the PrairieLearn server to use Google authentication. So we want to add server port again, and make sure it is we're gonna make sure, so make sure you capitalize the second letter, and make sure you use quotation marks, or else it'll yell at you. And then we're gonna add Google OAuth ID, client ID, and then this will be the ID we got from obviously the Google thing. When I downloaded the JSON file, it came with it, and you can see me here. I'm about to open it because I didn't copy it, so I'm gonna open it with Firefox, and it's just gonna make like a little API call, give me a little JSON. So I'm just gonna copy this, and I could put it into here, and then now we're gonna put in the Google secret, the client secret. Make sure again, don't show anyone this, because it can I guess Google just says don't show anyone, and I guess it's in the name anyways, so take that as you will. So now we're gonna copy the client secret, and then paste that back into the config.json, and we're just gonna add has OAuth, and we're just gonna set this flag as true. You don't need quotations mark for this one, just true. And then we're gonna add OAuth type, and we're gonna add X auth. Not sure why it's X auth or what it means, but this is how PrairieLearn is set up for their configuration or something. So we're just gonna listen to them. So we're gonna do server canonical host, which is if you have more than one host or more than one server, it's gonna be like the main one, I believe. I think that's the explanation. I don't know. Here again, I swapped it around on accident, so I don't know what's with me swapping those numbers, but I always swap them. So this should be it. and then you want to save that file, and then we are gonna see it's appeared. There were some issues on it, but I fixed them right here. So we're gonna actually add one more line, which is Google redirect URL, and this is gonna be the URL we had inside of Google, like this, but we are gonna add the PL callback. Pretty much it's gonna be the exact same as you added to Google. And then now I believe maybe actually 23, not whatever. So now we are gonna map the volume, which is basically map the config file in our VM to a config file in PrairieLearn. So we're just gonna add directory, relative directory to the config file, colon, we're mapping it, and then the PrairieLearn directory. So it's gonna be PrairieLearn. Don't forget to capitalize learn. I forgot to right here. And we're just gonna map it to config.json. We're gonna save this. Remember to save it with the oh, actually here, never mind. You're allowed to save it by yourself without the root users. So I changed it, and now we're gonna run the PrairieLearn container again. And this should I believe I was just checking the spelling. And now it's up, and then we're gonna go check on the actual server to see if it worked. Oh, we can see here I forgot a comma. Alright, now we added that. Now we're gonna run it again, and this should work. So we're gonna go to our website. As you can see, I was debugging before, and now we have login. So login with Google, and you could click any account you have. Later we're gonna make it only work for your school email. Right now we can see it's working, and it contains our name on the right. Right now we don't have any admins right now, and that's what we're going to do next. Admin settings. There would be a setting right here, but we're going to have to go into the Docker container and go into the database. So now we are using Docker execute pretty much, and then the -it, and then you specify the container, which is PL, and then you specify what you want to do, what you want to run, which is /bin/bash. So now you're in the Docker container console. You're gonna run PSQL Postgres, and now you're in the Postgres terminal, maybe the bash of the Postgres. So now we're just gonna see all the users we have. So these are all the people that have logged in. The dev is there by default, but these are all the users we logged in with, as we can see. And now we want to see, or believe, yeah, we're gonna look at I'll show you the database we're gonna be adding to. So we're gonna do insert into administrators, which is the admin database, and we're gonna specify what we're gonna use to identify a user, so the user ID. So we're just gonna put this in parentheses. I believe I do that here in a bit. So yeah, parentheses, and then we're gonna add values, and then another parenthesis, and the value you want to add in between those parentheses. So I want to add just my personal email, and now we inserted it, and then we look into our administrators database, and we can see that the ID1 is mapped to user ID 3. So now we're gonna log out, and we're gonna test to see if it worked. So yeah, we're gonna go back in there, and now we can turn on administrator access, and now we have administrator access. And here you configure a bunch of things. You can add actually admin here too, so you don't have to access the database every time, but they have to be in the database, the users database. So make sure you add them, and you see I added my other account, and we can see if we select, we can see ID1 is mapped to ID2. So now I'm gonna go back here, and also you can log out and we can log in, and we can I'm gonna show you that not everyone has admin access. So see, this user does not have admin access. Yeah, but this is basically how to do it for user auth, and I believe that's it for this video. Thank you. So to recap, you can now log into PrairieLearn as an admin and user. And the next step will be mounting the course to PrairieLearn server, and this will be generating an SSH key on the virtual machine, and put this key into your GitLab account, adding course to the PrairieLearn server in admin settings, and then syncing the course to display the content. Thank you.